We cannot go much further without mentioning it. Next month, Frank, you're going to be in Saudi Arabia as Tyson Fury goes in against this man from MMA, Francis Ngannou. And you say the interest has been huge and you're not going to shift from that position. The interest remains huge in this fight, does it?
Well, it does. I mean, just watching the press conference between the two of them, on TikTok there was 47 million plays, Facebook 15 million watches, Instagram 30, YouTube 7 and Twitter 75. That's 180 million people have watched that since Thursday. So I think that generates a little bit of interest.
Now, I know Simon's take on this, and we'll get to that in a second. Where are you at this with this, Spencer? Because you're a fighter, you're a boxer. Is this a real fight?
I understand what it is. I think that Tyson Fury was looking for different opponents. Them opponents that we were all hoping to see didn't materialise for one reason or another. Politics of boxing got in the way. So Tyson Fury's gone and decided to take this fight. You can't say the money that he's getting to fight Francis Ngannou, the crossover, as an event. You know, all the ex-world heavyweight champions are going to be at this event. As an event, it will be huge. It will be, you know, and you can't deny that. Has a Francis Ngannou got a chance in my eyes? Of course he hasn't. You know, I've seen him. He's big, he's strong, he's very heavy-handed, but he's slow. And Tyson Fury is the best of this generation right now. So, but I understand what it is, and I think that as an event, like I say, I think it'll be a great spectacle.
I mean, Spencer was a boxer, and he says Ngannou's got no chance.
Well,
now you want your man Fury to win.
Cool. Well, I hope he's got no chance because I want him to win. I mean, that's a fact of life. But having said that,
but what's the point of it, Frank? If there's no jeopardy in it.
Of course, there's jeopardy in it. I mean, the man's a big puncher. Look, for me, he's not going to outbox Tyson Fury. He's the best of his discipline, which is UFC. I've never really watched a lot of UFC until this fight was made, and I've looked obviously a lot of what he does in there. He can certainly whack. So what's he going to do? He's going to come out and he's going to use his best asset. And his best asset is to try and put it on Tyson and land those big shots. So while it lasts, it's going to be exciting. And if you look at Tyson's last 3 or 4 fights, what's he done in those fights? He stood and traded. He hasn't got on his bike. He stood and traded with people. It'd be a shootout. It'd be a shootout.
That's the only chance Ngannou's got. If Tyson decides to stand there...
I agree. He's not going to outbox Tyson. And I absolutely am on that page. But... Of course there's jeopardy in it when guys who can punch like he punched. I think he's in the Guinness Book of Records as the hardest punching fighter. You know, he is. He's in the Guinness Book of Records. So at the end of the day, everything has a bit of jeopardy about it.
Why are you not buying into it, Simon?
No, listen, as a concept, I understand it. I get it. If you look at what Dana White's done with the UFC, if you look at the inherent worth of that particular business, if you look at the commercial opportunities that come as a result of this, that potentially open the door. I feel sad that the only place we can make big fights are potentially in Saudi. I feel sad that we have to have an event like this to open the door to be able to get a better relationship with Saudi, which is the perspective that Frank will look towards, which is ultimately opportunities that come as a result of it. We've had a lot of noise out of Saudi in the last 15, 16, 17, 18 months without a lot of outcomes. We've got Eddie Hearn running around telling us they're going to make a fight. They don't make a fight. Skills challenges signing up with Usyk. Nothing happens as a result of that. So if this opens the gateway to a space in the world where we have to have a tacit acceptance of the reality of the economic landscape of sports. Once upon a time it was Vegas. Now it may well be the Middle East. And if that's the reality of it, then we have to accept it. Where I depart is... I understand what it is. I've always understood what it is. I'm not stupid. I'm not obtuse. I understand what the pitch is here. I just want this not to be the beginning of the end of Tyson Fury fighting meaningful fights. I wouldn't mind if I'd had this litany of fights from Tyson over the last 18 months with Dillian Whyte, which was a mismatch of a fight. He was the mandatory, I understand. With Derek Chisora, which wasn't a fight.
You were saying that Dillian Whyte should be getting much more money because he deserved more money.
I felt he should be in the conversation to have got a little bit more money, but the dynamics of that...
But Sammy, you know, with this situation that's coming up next month, it's been done before, Frank. Muhammad Ali... way back in 1976. You remember it, Simon? Went in with the wrestler Antonio Inoki.
But Tyson done the same thing in Saudi a couple of years ago for WWE.
Hold on a second there.
It was called the War of Two Worlds.
Tyson done that
nonsense.
Let's have it right. This is after he's fought George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton. He's fought all these fighters. Tyson Fury has fought Deontay Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko. And there are fights out there we want to see him have. Now, I think people would swallow this. I've got no problem with Tyson Fury getting a big bag of money. And we've had this conversation, you and I.
You can only fight if somebody else wants to be in the other corner.
That. But there will also be a flip side to the argument, and you and I debate this, and you say, no, it's not, that I don't believe, and you say, because you never dealt with him, so how would you know? I don't believe that Tyson Fury is the easiest person to deal with. I also don't believe he's probably the easiest person to manage. But in this instance, people are going to look at it and say, the WBC, rather than say, well, actually, we won our champion fighting, they go and give him another bleeding belt.
Should we have waited this year, waited for Christmas to see that double header with Tyson and Usyk, and it was going to be AJ and Deontay Wilder, wouldn't have happened.
Frank, this fight...
It wouldn't have happened. They did not... What happened was that they did not want to fight Tyson. We offered 60-40 on 2 occasions. First fight, get what you're saying about he weren't ready. Second time he could have took it. And the next thing is with Usyk. We never, ever had an offer for him, despite the fact they said their promoter, Skills Challenge, were going to send us a written offer. Never got one at all.
So there was no other option for you in this one.
Well, that was
you had to put them
in
together.
The end, he's sitting there.
So what's going to change?
Training
then?
constantly.
So just out of curiosity, what's going to change? Because behind this is probably, in your mind, an obfuscation from those fighters that they don't want to fight Tyson. So what's going to change then? The nature of the scale of the opportunity.
Because they're going to have to fight him.
Well, they're always going to have to fight him, but they haven't done yet, have they?
Is it not because, Frank, neither Tyson or Ngannou can say no to what they're being offered? Reportedly, am I right? Tyson's getting 50 million and Ngannou's getting 25.
It's also...
is that right, Frank?
It's too... No, I'm not
50 million and 25.
I'm not going to go into their money.
He's getting 50 million for this fight. So it's his biggest payday of all time.
He's getting...
Frank, look at me. Is he getting 50 million?
I'm looking...
Don't look at him, look at me.
He's got a confidentiality clause in his contract. I can't be telling you that.
I'm a warm with the figures.
You get on fire with that figure, you will.
But the point is this: is that you've always sold this particular yarn that this is a gatekeeper, right? So let's have it as a gatekeeper, right? So the moment this fight is finished, your feet go straight in the fire and say, right, now come on then, Frank.
And put my feet in the fire.
Let's make the fights that people want to see, not in fighting John Jones in the octagon.
Then afterwards, put my feet in the fire.
Yeah, that's my point.
Right,
and then everyone can swallow this fight and get on with Tyson getting paid for it.
Funnily enough, Spencer,
but you've got to remember, there's a bigger audience out there of people who want to watch an event than just hardcore boxing fans.
I get that, Frank, but we know that Tyson's kind of mind is everywhere. I mean, this was just this morning. He was talking about the fight that's coming up against Ngannou and what he might do after that. And this was him talking to your people, Frank, at Queensbury.
None of these guys are expected to beat me, but particularly not an MMA guy. So that would be the biggest egg in my face if I got knocked out by Francis, wouldn't it? It'd be too good for me, really, wouldn't it? He put me out of my misery, actually. I clearly can't put myself out of my own misery, so I hope someone else does it. And now I've got new goals, though. I want to top the Forbes list, the highest paid athlete ever for the year, and I want to make a Hollywood movie. So, new goals, baby!
Any new goals in the ring?
I've completed the ring game. It's done, done everything there is to do, won every belt there is to win, and been undefeated in 15 years and 2-time undefeated champion. So hopefully I get through Ngannou, and then I'd either fight Ngannou in a cage or I'd fight John Jones in a boxing match. I mean, is that where he's at?
Well, you've heard him. He wants to go and fight someone in a cage. What are you going to criticise him for that? He's doing the other guys. He's now doing it on the other guy's terms.
But as a boxer, though, I think everyone wants that undisputed. Everyone wants that undisputed. We need that. Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. We need those fights.
I want to see it. It takes two to tango, and we tried to do it this year. I think it will happen, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, Tyson, everything he's done, he's been very, very successful. He's had 3 #1 best-selling books. That Netflix series that he's got, with his family, is the highest rated program they've ever had for Netflix in the UK. So you've got a massive audience. So it's not just...
How do you know that? You lot in boxing.
You're in episode number 8, by the way. You're on episode number 8.
But sorry, why do you think they've commissioned another series?
I would have thought Prince Harry's ghastly documentary
had
got more numbers.
Well, it got crap numbers. Prince Harry's documentary, by the way, didn't get anywhere, did it? A lot of things beat that.
Oh, okay.
And quite rightly so.
We'll find these facts
Frank,
out.
you won't be talked around.
But I don't understand where you're coming from with that. At the end of the day,
we want to see him fight Usyk. We want to see him fight Joshua.
We want to see it. That's what I want to see. Everybody in boxing wants to see that. I'm sure of that. But at the end of the day,
will we get that, Frank?
I think circumstances will make it happen. I hope they will, and that's what we.
But I just think, and you're right, Frank, that there's an opportunity to grow the sport. But if you were going over there and they were paying him $5 million for this fight, he wouldn't have gone. Right, so we've just gone there for the money, and we all accept that. Priced in, gets a big bag of money. I look at it and say that given the talent that Tyson Fury has, given the belief that we have, I don't think he behaves in the way that this belt and this heritage of this belt should denote that he should. I think he should be able to want to have. I know you're going to say we're different dance partners. Well, then don't fight Usyk. Don't fight Joshua at this stage. Fight someone else within the top 10 of the heavyweights. I don't know. There's 10 heavyweights out there. You can name them the same as I can.
We tried to make. You can't make those fights when somebody's asking.
Joe out of the way with Zhilei Zhang.
When someone's asking for $25-30 million.
Get Frank.
Ruiz. I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, then get Joe.
But
Joe Joyce to step aside and fight Zhilei Zhang. There's ways to have created a situation, Frank.
There's also there's another scenario here, and that is that Saudi Arabia are building a new city.
Yes, I know. I've seen it.
Okay, let me finish.
Yes.
God help us. Anyway, so they're building this new city. That new city will be.
So it's our job to fuel their sports activity, is it? You're all selling your soul to the Saudis and all that goes with that.
What I'm saying, no, we're in sport. We're in the business of sport. What you're saying, if you still had Crystal Palace and you were offered to take your team over there for a lot of money, you wouldn't have taken them for a match.
Seriously,
he'd have been in the first flight.
He'd have been on the. He'd have been carrying them over there.
Exactly.
The point is this: I hope that we have this conversation post the event, where all of this.
But you're still not letting me make my point. My point I was making is you touched on it earlier about Vegas. What they're doing now, they're creating a city, and that city is going to be a big destination for people like Dubai. If you had the conversation about Dubai 10, 15 years ago, everybody said you're crazy, but it's a massive destination. That will become a massive destination, and there will be massive fights on it. The good thing about it is, one, the boxers in our particular sport will earn a lot of money. The good thing about the British fans are that they won't have to sit up till 4s and 5s and 6 o'clock in the morning to watch
time zones.
Yeah,
so that's going to be great for everybody.
You're doing everybody a favour.
And that is what's going to happen.
And the Saudi Arabian infrastructure.
Frank is taking them over there for the goodness of his heart.